Thank you, Wesley. It's funny, we were just talking about last time I was here, and it was some time ago, but I ended up hiring someone from your program named Shane Kohatsu. Does anybody here know who he is? No Shane? Oh, no? Oh, man. Anyway, he was an amazing team member for us and really took our agency to the next level. He's over at Nike. I think he's the head of design for the Jordan brand now. But look him up. He's one of your great alums. So today we'll be talking about brand, we'll be talking about emotion, but really about how customer experience helps you build brand. So let's say it's Friday at 11 o'clock. Where should all of you be Friday at 11 a.m.? In class, right? And how about people like me and Wesley? Where should we be if it's Friday at 11? Where would you be, Wesley, Friday at 11 a.m.? Yeah, you should be at work, in class, doing something like that. What you shouldn't be doing is you shouldn't be at a college basketball game with face paint on. However, this is me and my friends from UCI. So this is me up here on the top left. As you can tell, I went to UC Irvine. I'm an anteater. Also, you have Sasha Strauss, who I think was a speaker here not too long ago. Last year. Anyone here remember Sasha Strauss speaking? Yeah, a couple of you? How was his talk? Great? All right, I'll let him know. And then this is Peter Pham. Does anybody know Peter Pham here? Does anyone know Liquid Death? Show of hands? Okay, so he's one of the lead investors for Liquid Death. And all of us have family, all of us has had kids. He runs Innovation Protocol, which is a brand agency in LA. Peter Pham runs this investment fund that funds Liquid Death. They're doing really well. We shouldn't be at a basketball game, right? Logically, rationally, we shouldn't. However, we get a call from Peter saying that the Anteaters made it into March Madness. And we have to go to San Jose and go watch this basketball game. So within 2 days, all of us are on a plane, flying up to San Jose, and next thing you know, we're up at a basketball game. So the main point I'm trying to make here is that emotion trumps logic for most of us. So this is a little background on me. As I mentioned, I went to UCI. I was pre-med. We talked a little bit about my background getting into this. And I had a passion for design when I was younger, but my parents told me that I had to go and become a doctor. So I went to UCI. I was a bio major. I graduated pre-med. And then my dad said, hey, why don't you take a year off and go travel the world before you get locked up in med school for 10 years. So instead of following my career path, I took some time following my passion path that year, which was graffiti art. So through high school and when I was in junior high school, I loved doing graffiti. I had a crew, we'd go bombing in LA. Anyone here do graffiti art? Yeah? Awesome. Are you still painting?
What's that?
Are you painting still?
I do mostly small stuff. So
okay.
I contain to a notebook.
Awesome. Do you know Motor Yard or Belmont Tunnel or West Coast Artists? Okay. So that was my whole scene through the 80s and 90s. I was hanging out with all these guys in LA doing graffiti art. So I've always had that passion. So when I graduated and my dad told me to travel, I said, you know what, I'm gonna try and see if I can be an artist for that year. So I started doing a bunch of commissions. This is me getting a commission at UC Irvine. So you'll see this is a big anteater in the back that I did for one of the venues there. And things took off. I got asked to go paint for Motel California for MTV, get interviewed by Carson Daly, then it led me to painting these big murals up in San Francisco, and things just took off in my passion path. And one of the first things that I got to do was UC Irvine, the athletic director from UC Irvine said he had a problem recruiting athletes to become anteaters because being an anteater wasn't cool. So he came to me and said, hey, I know you're doing all these cool anteaters around campus with graffiti art and with my crew. He said, can you guys do something to make anteaters cool at UCI? So this was the old cartoon anteater that they were using. So me and the guys in my graffiti crew said, hey, let's come up with something like this. So this is what we came up with for the brand identity for UCI Athletics. So the anteater was kind of this BC cartoon type of character. We made him look more tough more of a badass, tough, aggressive anteater. And we created an icon for the athletic department because they didn't have an icon at the time. So we actually went through and did brand strategy, brand identity. We did a brand launch. We did brand extensions. And you'll see that 30 years later, this is now the adopted and trademarked logo for UCI. We did take this and donate it to UC Irvine, and it's the official trademark for UC Irvine. But one thing we realized is that by going in and doing something cool with design, you had Kobe Bryant coming over and hanging out, and you had people like Colin coming in and taking photos. They actually created a mascot that was this tough, buff anteater that they didn't have before. And actually, Sasha Strauss, who came here and spoke, he is actually inside that, that mascot costume. So a little fun fact for all of you, if you see Sasha again. And also, they started to create merchandise with the logos that we created. And this is Leonardo DiCaprio wearing one of our caps. And we actually became an official merchandise manufacturer, licensed manufacturer for UC Irvine. So wow, so we're looking at this going, this art, this design is now turning into big business. We were just doing graffiti art and sketching together, and next thing you know, we're a licensed manufacturer for UC Irvine. So the tagline that we have for our agency is, we build brands that mean business. And I think it's really important for creatives like yourselves to really understand the real purpose of what you're doing. You're not there to make something pretty. You're not there to just make something look cool. At the end of the day, you're going to have some sort of business impact, or most of you. And one thing I want you to remember, something we tell ourselves all the time is, we're doing things to make money, but that's not the reason why we're doing it. We're doing it so that we create something that makes people tell us thank you, right? So that appreciation, that gratitude, if we're doing something that someone will say thank you for, we consider money the manifestation of thank you. So, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. So I was hooked. So I was hooked on business. I ended up not pursuing my career path as a doctor. My business started taking off, and I never looked back. One of the other turning points for me as a designer, as a creative, as an artist, was meeting this guy right here. His name is Lionel Garcia. And he was the head of sales for this Chinese manufacturing company called Pine. So they were a company. How many people here know NVIDIA? All right, good, everyone. Pine would take a piece of plastic, a PCB, and they would buy an NVIDIA chip and slap it on there, and it turned into a video card. That's what's inside this box right here. Lionel was in charge of selling those PCBs and those video cards to gamers. They came to us, they saw some of the work that we did, and they said, hey, can you design a new website for us, is what happened. So they came to us, they wanted us to design a new website, but we took a look at the product and say, you know what, your product, your brand isn't quite right. If you're trying to increase sales, having a website show more of your crappy product is not what you really need. You need to focus on getting your brand, your packaging, your messaging on point so you're correctly communicating from a visual and messaging standpoint the value that you're going to give to your target customer. So who's your target customer? And they didn't really have a customer persona. They couldn't really clearly articulate that to us. So we went in and started talking about the fact that these are all primarily gamers. Right, it's primarily PC gamers that are buying these cards and putting them into their PC and playing video games. How many people here have played PC games? Awesome, great. This is very different than my talk last night where there was like 2 PC gamers. So you're gonna enjoy the case study that I talked about today because one of them was gonna be a PC gaming brand. So they came to us and we explained to them what branding was and how we were going to help them increase sales, not by just giving them a new website, but solving the core problem, which is their brand. So the primary way that these products were sold at the time is at Best Buy. It wasn't online. So if you go to Best Buy and you go to the graphics card section, it looks kind of like this. So it also looks kind of like a grocery store aisle. We were doing packaging, and I read an article that really caught my attention, and it talked about, I wish I could find it right now, but it talks about how when you're doing cereal box design, there's really two sides of the box, and there's two customers that you're designing for. The front of the box is for the child, right? It's very emotional, you make them want it. And then the back and the sides is for the mother, for the parent. So it's really, the front is really about getting the kid excited about the product, showing them something that they want that they don't have yet. And then the back is going to be about validation and making sure that the mother picks this up and realizes that this is not just a box of sugar, there's very special goodness inside. There's nutritional value, et cetera, et cetera. So it's really about building trust. So this is where it really got me into understanding the psychology behind design, and really understanding why people buy at a deeper level. This is where we ended up. So the product that was in that little box is the same thing that's inside this box. If you saw this box versus the previous one, which product would you guys want to buy? It's pretty obvious. So things that we did, you'll notice it's the cereal box. On the front, there's very few words. It's very visual. And we tried to visually communicate the value that they're going to get when they buy this video card. If you look at the previous box, if you go back to it here, the brand was called Pine Trees. All right, that may be or may not be good for video gamers. There's like this low resolution Photoshop purple Christmas tree, pine trees on the front with some lightning bolts coming out of it. And there's really no visual hierarchy. Like, what are you really looking at here? And then we turn that into this. If you take a look at the front of the box, what do gamers want? Gamers want high resolution, right? They want high frame rate. They want it to be fast. They want it to be dynamic. They want a great gaming experience. Also, most gamers at the time were boys and men, right? They're males. So what's man's best friend? A dog. So we created a three-dimensional character. Instead of having these dead Christmas trees in the front, we have the character, which was a little pit bull named Razor. We made it very dynamic from a visual standpoint, but also from a physical standpoint. When you're walking down the aisle at Best Buy, all the boxes were small rectangular boxes. Do you know why? Because it's cheaper to ship a lot of video cards from China to America if you could pack more into one box. Well, we took a totally different approach. Instead of a manufacturing mindset, we put ourselves in the consumer's shoes and say, hey, if we're walking down that aisle, what's going to capture our attention first? Well, there's visuals, but also we changed the size of the box and the shape of the box. We went to Best Buy and asked them, what's the maximum size box we can put on your shelf? And that's what we did. We maxed out the size of the box, changed the shape of it, and front was visual and the back is all the messaging. And from there, we came up with this thing called the dose method. So at first, design was just about making something that was intuitively cool for us. Like, this just looks great. And being graffiti artists, a lot of the stuff we were doing was just visual. But as I started to tap into my science background, and especially that one article that talked about the front of the box was for, the emotional side of a kid wanting something, and the back side being for the emotional side of the mother trusting it, I dove deeper into my science background, and I realized, there's these 4 chemicals that motivate us to move. Dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphin. I'm gonna just post this up right now. I'm gonna dive deeper into it later. But this was where the dose method was created for our agency. And I'll talk more about this later. Okay, so we learned that design turned into big business. So for this brand right here, this is what it used to be. It turned into this. We did the same stuff we did for UCI. Brand strategy, brand identity, packaging, brand management, brand extension, same stuff we did for UCI. But we were more involved with the sales. Obviously for a university, they're not really looking at sales numbers like a video card company would. So we were very involved with the sales team. They went from, this brand didn't have any sales, the XFX, we changed the name of the brand too. We changed it from Pine to XFX because gamers are not looking for pine trees, they're looking for extreme effects, which is the acronym. But this brand started off as a test here in the US at Best Buy, 0 sales, did well. They ended up turning into NVIDIA's #1 global selling brand. We ended up taking on, or getting offered 7 figures of stock options, which ended up being very nice for us. And they ended up having an IPO. You guys, everyone know what IPO is? Initial public offer. So their company went public. So you guys heard of companies going public, right? So it's a good thing, especially if you have stock options. So needless to say, me and my team, we had a great time. We bought houses and Porsches, and it was really fun. But from there, we were like, man, we made it. We love doing technology product brands. So this is us doing launches at CES, which I'm sure you guys know, Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas. Yeah. And that's kind of the world that we live in. We also launched our own brand. I think maybe Shane was a part of this. I'm not sure if he was or not, but we designed our own mobile computing accessories called Avic, which solved our own problems. We were traveling all over the world. Every single month we were traveling to Shenzhen, China, Taipei for R&D. We were traveling to Macau to celebrate. And we're constantly traveling and realized, man, there's a lot of problems being an international traveler if you're trying to keep your laptop powered and your iPhone and your iPad and trying to plug into different circuits all over the world. So we created a whole series of products for the international traveler. Started this brand, and we had about a dozen patents, both utility patents and design patents, and we ended up selling this to a public company for 7 figures. We had a great exit from there. So again, what did we do? Same stuff. We just did brand strategy, brand identity, brand launches, product design, all the same things that you guys are doing, but we were business-minded about it. And then one of the case studies I'll show you today is for a company called CyberPower PC. Does anybody here know CyberPower PC? Oh, great. Oh, cool. All right, good. So they're the largest independent manufacturer of gaming PCs in America. So they sell the most number of Windows operating systems in terms of a private company. So for them, we're doing the same thing. We've launched an internal brand for them. You know, Costco has Kirkland. Well, CyberPower PC has a brand called Cyber that my son came up with the name. You know, we built the whole brand. We manage all the product design and development and all the marketing for Cyber. And again, we're doing the same process all over again using the DOSE methodology. I took this from 0. It was the brand didn't exist in 2014, and now they're doing 8 figures in revenue. Another one, just to give you more perspective on where we're coming from, this would be another case study that I talk about today. It's a company called Robocon. They're a Chinese robotics engineering company that focuses on consumer AI-powered robots. And how many people here know about Robocon? Oh, there's a few. Awesome. When I go to the next slide, you're definitely going to know who Robocon is. The same thing here. We got involved with them very early. We launched them on Kickstarter. They did okay. They did like $100,000 on Kickstarter, not very much, but they were a startup, right? This young company, these great robotics engineers from China wanted to come to the US market. We ended up launching them at CES, and they caught the attention of these guys. Everyone know who this guy is? Everyone knows Optimus Prime, right? So by us working with them on doing the same thing we do for all the other brands, right, launching these brands, they caught the attention of Hasbro, primarily the Transformers team. And they saw what these engineers were doing with these cool little consumer robots, and they're like, man, could you guys do a real Optimus Prime? And the answer from the engineering team is, we'll try, we'll give it a shot. They ended up getting $100 million in Series B funding from Sequoia and from Disney and from Alibaba and a bunch of other investors. And I can just tell you, working with them, we were working with them for 5 years. We launched probably almost 10 products for them. It was an awesome ride, right? And being the creative team, just building brands, but doing it by thinking of their business outcomes and having business impact. So that led us to them doing a launch with Disney and Pixar. We did the launch for the Buzz Lightyear robot. So I think this just launched, and they started delivering these maybe about 3-4 months ago. But man, working with Pixar was awesome. Has anybody interested in going to work for Pixar, or is that a direction you want to go?
I work there.
You did work there?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm there right now.
You right there. Okay, so how is it working with the Pixar creative team?
It's really fun, really creative. Yeah, it's kind of scary though, because there's all these big people.
Mm-hmm.
It's really important.
Would you say they're very picky?
Yeah, a little bit.
It was, yeah, it was. I mean, it was awesome working with them. They're super nice, but man, I tell you, we were like just working on the face, for example, for Buzz. We had to do like 15 molds and versions of the face where the details, you could barely tell the difference. But they were talking about, oh, the texture of the skin on his cheek isn't quite right. And we kept saying, man, I think they're called Pixar because they're so picky. But just wonderful working with that team. So we've done all of that. And over the past few years, we got a little bit confident and said, hey, why don't we go ahead and start doing some angel investments through our firm? So the same thing, as you guys start to go into your careers and be entrepreneurial, and whether you're working at Pixar or doing freelance work or doing some stuff with your own little groups, there's ways for you to add value to these teams where for these startups, they didn't have enough money to pay us our full rates. So we said, let's take a portion of that and we'll do a cash equity split. So for example, we say, hey, you could pay us half in cash and the other half give us equity in your startups. So these are 4 companies where we took equity in their startups. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk through all 4, and we did the same thing for all of them. Dose method, build the brand, all the stuff I'm gonna show you today, the same process, but one of them now is already out of business and we've lost all of our money. I want you guys to try and guess which one it is. So the first one is Genie. They came to us, we built their brand, did all the marketing for them. They launched on Y Combinator, which is the Super Bowl accelerator for startups. They're probably the top accelerator in the world. They went to Demo Day at Y Combinator. As soon as they got done with Demo Day, they got a $500,000 investment, like instantly. Lexi Smart Home, we launched them on Kickstarter. They end up doing a lot of smart home devices and applications. They have headquarters in India for all the software development. They have headquarters in China for their hardware development. They have people on their board from Google Ventures and some other really high-profile organizations. They've also moved into the B2B space and doing commercial properties. Indiegogo, Fuse Drive, which is an SSD for gamers that leverages AI to help you go from booting to shooting as fast as possible. We were a number 1 or top 1% campaign on Indiegogo. Then we took them to CES. We got orders from Best Buy, Microsoft. We got tons of orders for this product. They ended up getting, I forgot how much funding, but they got tens of $1 million in funding. They had 25 engineers they recruited from AMD, from Intel, superstar software development team. That's Fuse Drive. And the last one is called Pitch, which is a bootstrap app that teaches you how to sing songs with the actual artist. So, of these 4, how many think that Genie is the one that went out of business? Oh, interesting. How many people think Lexi is the one that went out of business? Okay, why do you think Lexi? Yeah.
I haven't heard about them before.
Okay.
It's my first time.
All right. How many people think Fuse Drive is the one that went out of business? Okay, why do you think it's Fuse Drive?
Maybe because AI is coming more popular over time, so it's something that's not as unique as it would have been.
Okay. And how about Pitch? How many people think Pitch is out of business? Okay. Why is that? Why do you think Pitch is out of business?
I think it might have been too costly getting the actual celebrities to help you learn the lyrics.
Yeah. Well, they signed a deal with Universal Music. So Universal gives them access to all the artists. So it's Fuse Drive. So Fuse Drive is the one we thought was going to be the most successful, right? It was a top 1% campaign, great launch. We went to CES, we got tons of orders, we had great engineers. But the problem with this company is even though we did the same thing for all the brands, this company failed because they were not able to get a chip They weren't able to get one of the chips that went onto the little PCB. So even though they had these orders, they couldn't ship, so they went out of business. So even though you guys may do all your work correctly, right? You may have a great team and do all the great design, product development, marketing, you may still fail because it's something that's out of your control. All right. And we do this for a lot of different brands. Even though we're primarily focused on technology companies, you'll see we have Delimex on there, like a Mexican food company. We have Nestle, Urban Decay, makeup company. So it does go across the board. And the process I'm going to show you today works for every type of company. And as far as our team, this is what our team looks like. I'm showing you this just so you see the names of or see the titles, right? So we're primarily a front-end creative team. You're seeing creative directors, project manager, Webflow, which is web design, senior web developer, AI content, 3D design. So that's kind of our team. It's really a creative team, just like all of you. One thing that we still love is we love entrepreneurship. And we do give back to a lot of the entrepreneur communities. I know we talked about some of the work you're doing here. But I'm curious, how many of you here are considering being entrepreneurs? By show of hands. Awesome. How many of you already have an idea? Oh, okay, let's go in the back. What's your idea?
I'm trying to start a car company, like a bespoke cars.
Like an actual car?
I like coach building, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Do you know 5-Axis?
CNC?
Yeah. No, the company 5-Axis that used to be around? No? Okay. You go to the Art Center grad shows? The transportation shows? Okay. Yeah, we got one guy who went to Art Center Trans. Yeah, that's awesome. All right, what's your idea?
Maybe something to do with like wildfire drones.
Okay.
Yeah, preventing wildfires, like using drones or something like that, yeah.
Awesome. Other ideas? Yeah.
We have an idea with my friend. It's building like a space that's like a car media space, but also offers like a hangout spot and like a space for people to like repair their cars.
Excellent. All right, up front.
Yeah, I was thinking about getting into like the energy space.
Okay.
I'm designing like portable solar panels. So similar to your traveler idea.
Yeah.
For international travelers, like people who are looking to like charge their phones on the go, they can just use a portable solar panel to charge their devices and not walk on.
Right on. Excellent. And how many of you here are industrial design? By show of hands. Okay. And what are the rest of you?
Interior design.
Interior.
General design.
What is it?
General design.
General design? Okay, awesome. Well, the beauty of what you guys do, you guys are like magicians, right? You guys are actually, you take ideas and turn them into reality, all of you. So, and you'll see from what we're doing here, we're just a bunch of creatives, right? But we're able to take an entrepreneur's idea or take some of our own ideas and we make them real out of thin air, right? So make sure that you guys are thinking about the business impact, right, that you guys are going to have, and make sure to apply it to all these different interactions that you guys are going to be, all the opportunities you guys have in your future. So for your entrepreneurs, I am also the president of Tech Coast Venture Network. How many people here know of TCVN? Okay, cool. So Tech Coast Venture Network, we help first-time founders become fundable. So when you guys start getting your ideas off the ground and you're thinking, hey, I need some money, which some of you will, consider coming to TCVN, and you can join our community, come to our pitch events, learn how to meet investors. We have angel investor speed dating. There's a lot of really cool ways for entrepreneurs like you who have ideas that can actually make things real to get you guys connected with people who have money that can fund you. And I'll give you guys an opportunity to connect with me on LinkedIn at the very end. I'll give you guys a QR code. Just make sure, I don't add people, but make sure to just put in there that you guys met me at this talk at Cal State Long Beach, and I'll make sure to connect you guys. And if you guys have someone in my network that you want to connect with, I'd be more than happy to introduce you. And an introduction is different than a referral. You got that? Introduction is different. What's the difference between an introduction and a referral? Anyone? Go ahead.
You're like putting your word on it when it's a referral.
Yeah. So one thing to remember as you guys move forward, always ask for introductions. right? Because that's how you're going to build your network. But don't ask for referrals. People have a really hard time doing referrals. Okay, so that's TCBN. All right, so that's the intro about me. Take a moment, you can stretch. We're going to go into the next section of the talk. What is this right here? We're going to talk a little bit about brand. So what is this? Let's just, and you don't have to raise your hand. Just go ahead and talk out loud. Okay, logo, swoosh. What else? Just do it, right? Just do it comes to your mind, right? It's a brand, okay? But what is a brand? Everyone has different definitions.
An identity.
It's identity, okay?
A story.
A story. What else is a brand? A feeling. Okay, I'm gonna do a little exercise with you. So there's a desert. Let's take a deep breath. Okay, imagine yourself walking through the desert. You guys can use this on your clients too. I do this with my clients all the time. So you're walking through the desert, and then there's a big building. You walk up to the building and it says, 5-star hotel. Cool, right? So then you walk into the doors, you walk into the middle of this lobby of this hotel, and now I tell you that this is a Nike branded hotel. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell? What are the textures that are around you? What do the people look like? But now I tell you, you're in a Tiffany's branded hotel. What changes? And then I tell you, you're in a Liquid Death hotel, right? What changes? So this hotel lobby is the perceptions that you have of the brand. The second thing is when you walk up to the front desk in that hotel, how do you expect to be treated by the staff? What's the attitude? What's the tone? What's that experience going to be like if you go to that front desk? Is it different from the Tiffany's versus the Liquid Death hotel? So the two words I'm talking about are the perceptions and expectations that people have of your company. That's how we define the brand. And we always talk about the hotel lobby with our clients, which seems to work pretty well. Okay, so that's great. So now we talked about what a brand is, perceptions and expectations of your company. But going back to, we build brands that mean business. That's our mission. We want to make sure we have business impact with our designs. What's the ROI? How do any of you measure the ROI of brand? Let's hear some ideas. What do you guys think? ROI of a brand, what is it? How do you guys measure it? Anything? Crickets? All right, let's just go and dive into it then. So anybody know what ROI is? Oh, okay, so ROI stands for return on investment, okay? So ROI is return on investment. So you are all gonna be working with clients, team members, and you're gonna be investing your time, money, and energy into these things, whatever you guys end up creating. The only reason why you're gonna be doing what you're doing, unless you're doing it for self-expression, is because someone's expecting to get a return on their investment in you. So, what is the ROI of a brand? Well, let's start here. So we're talking about Nike. Let's say I tell you that these are both Nikes. They look the same thread, the same stitching, the same materials. The build quality looks amazing in both of them. One's $100, one is $10. Which one are you gonna buy? Okay, $100 one? Oh wait, why is that? Interesting. Yeah, why? What was the first thing that comes to your mind?
Because the $100 one, you kind of know that it actually is Nike and not like a fake. You have like the trust because you can.
You have the trust. That's the word I was looking for. That's right.
So like their other products.
Yeah. So then, what if I do tell you that the other one's fake? You know, if you're picking the $10 one, does that change it for you now? Just by telling you this, but what if it's the same build quality? No, why are you shaking your head? Why wouldn't you?
Because you're paying for quality.
Okay.
Quality's important.
But what if they look the same? And I tell you it's the same materials and same build. It may have come out of a very similar factory.
Replicas.
Okay. So why wouldn't you buy that?
Because I value authenticity.
Okay, that's good. Let's keep going with that. Why? Why do we value that? Why do you value that?
So I want to feel authentic when I'm wearing it.
Okay, let's keep going. But why? Why does that matter? Why does authenticity matter? Yeah.
Because you're investing in that brand, and that brand speaks kind of through you. Like as you're wearing it, people know you're sporty with Nike and stuff.
So identity, I'm hearing. Okay, that's good. What else? This is good. I'm trying to get I'm trying to get our mindset into brands, right? So yeah, what else?
You basically want people to think that you're authentic, I guess.
So maybe status, right? All right, interesting. It's not just about the product, it's something more. This ring on the left, I looked it up online. It's a 1 carat VSL, whatever type of diamond ring, engagement ring. It's $5,000. If you guys go online right now and try and buy a 1 carat diamond ring like this, it's $5,000. But if that diamond ring comes in this box, it's $10,000 minimum, right? Most of them are even higher than that. Even used ones, used Tiffany engagement rings are retaining their value. It's over double. Why? Would people in here spend double for the same, basically the same ring? You can't tell the difference when you look at it. It looks exactly the same. Who would pay double for the Tiffany's engagement ring in here? Oh, would everyone pay the $5,000 in here then? Who would pay the $5,000? Why is that?
Because if it, honestly for me, like if it looks the same,
It does?
brand doesn't.
Okay. So for shoes, would you have bought the $100 Nike?
I think it depends on the quality. If it's the same exact quality and they look the same, I would probably rather choose them.
Okay. So for both of them, the ring and the shoe. But, okay. And there's no wrong answer, right? It's just different people. People buy based on different decisions. All right. Now let's get into cars, right? So you're going to be doing cars. So this is the VW Touareg SUV. It's $50,000. But the Porsche is $100,000, the Porsche Cayenne. Do they come out of the same factory? Some of you guys know, right? Is it the same chassis? Is it worth double? Who would pay double for the Porsche Cayenne? All right, let's hear it. Why in the back?
Upgraded components.
Okay, like what? What kind of stuff? Because the chassis, the stuff you can't see, most of it's the same.
But like the suspension is upgraded. Same with
Maybe a little upgrade. Okay, so upgrade. What else?
the engine components.
Some upgrades to the engine. Okay. Is it worth double? 100,000. It's worth double. Why is it worth double?
Definitely reliability.
Okay. Twice as good as the VW. Or is there something more? Is it just reliability? Yeah.
Most of it is the name. You're really paying for a lot of the name. VW Group does like top-down stuff. They do like the best stuff first and they trickle down. But really it's the name. And the fact that Porsche doesn't make as many cars, so they have to charge more per car.
Okay. And what is it with the name? Yeah, in the back. Status. Right? That's actually one of the words I was looking for, right? Why do we care about status? What do we do, and how do we create it? And then if you take that and go to the next level, anybody know this one, the Urus? Is this the same chassis? Is this the same factory as VW? Do you guys know? It is. Yeah. Pardon?
They have the Audis like engine.
Oh,
Audi engine in the car.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's not even like anything special.
And is this would you pay 5 times more now? Right? Is it 5 times more reliable, or is it status? Right? Now I can afford this. I want people to know. So interesting, right? All right, and the last one I'm gonna give you. So this is water. Water's free. Water's free. Or it's $2.50. Or it's $5. Or it's $10. Where do you pay $10 for water? Airwatch. So location, right? Or you could be at a concert, right? And it's a little bit more expensive. But man, what's going on with liquid death? It's just water, but it's worth $1.4 billion. It's just water. What's the difference with liquid death? What have they done? Let's talk about it. Yeah. It's like a beer. It looks like a beer. So what is that? Graphic design?
Yeah.
Okay.
So a festival of the culture company rather than that, and then on water,
Okay.
especially if you're not drinking or anything like that.
Does it have anything to do with the actual product?
No, it's the marketing.
God, it's all the marketing, right? Design.
It's
Yeah,
a conversation
but-
starter. It makes, help you meet people, talk to people.
Okay, helps you meet people and talk to people. Okay, so go ahead.
It's also status that like kind of makes you look cooler.
I love that. So on one side I heard, oh, now I can be a part of a community or a group and I can start talking to them. And the other one, you're saying status. The status is about standing out. Right? Status is like, oh, you guys are all down here, but I'm up here. Right? And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a bit. So let's take a look at Liquid Death. Fastest growing non-alcoholic beverage, number one on Amazon, number one on TikTok. The valuation, that $1.4 billion, which is from last year, it's probably higher now, but it's 7 times the sales, that $1.4 billion valuation. Pepsi is only 2 times the sales. So the valuation, the perception is it's a much more valuable brand. Because it's not the product, is it? Is it the packaging? Is it really the can? Maybe. But what is that? What is it? What's the difference? It's the emotional, right? It's the emotion that you're getting from this brand. And then we're going to talk about how we create that today. But everyone know Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the pyramid? Okay, good. So if you know what it is, what's at the very bottom? Basic needs. Where's water? Water's at the very bottom. You want to talk about a home run brand success story? This is it. And our friend, Peter Pham was the lead investors in this. So you know that water's down here, but if it's really just a basic need, physiological, physical need down at the bottom, that's not why it's worth $1.4 billion. So as you look at these hierarchy of needs, how far up the pyramid do you think the Liquid Death brand is? Yeah. Where would you put it? And there's no wrong answer, right? This is just us talking through this and thinking about this. Yeah.
Like esteem needs?
Which one?
Esteem?
So you would put it right up here, esteem. Why is that?
Because it's like, I don't know, I know that their brand's like peace stigmatizes being the one like drinking water at a party.
Oh, interesting.
Like feel bad.
This is good. This is the actual moment. So talk about this. So you're at a party, okay, and keep going with the stigma of water.
It's just like, if you're just like the only one there, you have like a water bottle, and they know like, oh, this guy's not drinking, like he's not having as much fun. Or they like push like, oh, haha, you're the like designated driver or something like that. Whereas, yeah, the can is still like.
How interesting. So I love where you're going with that. I would actually put that down one notch lower. It's being a part of a tribe. Oh, hey, I'm not below you. I'm right there with you guys. I'm friends with you guys. I'm not the outcast. I'm actually belonging. I'm a part of what you guys are doing. Okay, so that's a really good point. Anyone else? What's Liquid Death doing?
I've just actually witnessed the whole thing of like
Awesome.
Making friendships happen in
Okay.
a class where somebody walked in with that. And then somebody was like, oh, I know what that is. And other people was like, oh, I thought you were drinking a beer. And like everybody started talking to each other in a calculus class, which never happens. So, and that was what did it.
Excellent. So belonging, being part of a tribe, being part of a crew. Okay. This esteem is like status. Is there any time where you think the Liquid Death is making you better than the crowd? Yeah.
Well, I was going to say esteem because maybe they're trying to quit alcohol, but they like the feel and the click of the top, so maybe that.
You're the first person who said that in my talks, so that's a good one. Okay, interesting. So, and so what is that feeling then? That feeling is?
Like getting over something, but still not like completely throwing it away. Like you still get that little, I guess, like dopamine hit,
Yeah.
but not fully like partaking in that activity, so it's an accomplishment.
I like that. Yeah, go ahead in the back. Yeah.
I would say more like in the same thing how people like to buy the authenticated like shoes like stuff like Nike. Like if you buy something,
that you know is authentic and more prestige, it will put you like, you will put yourself, I think, in like a higher level of class, like, oh, I have the original. Like, I'm original myself instead of like mine.
Yeah, so that's esteem, that's status. Right, so now I'm standing out. So, yeah, go ahead.
Another esteem one is the whole, like, when we're all trying to be sustainable, but then keep making mistakes, buying plastic stuff. You can be like, I did it. I bought the metal one. Like,
I love it, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit too. So hang on to that thought, right? Because now it's something that's not even about, it's not about liquid death, me fitting in with you guys, or now I'm a little bit better. Now you're saying it's something even different. This is about save the planet.
yeah, I accomplished something today. I chose the non-plastic.
Right, so now you're talking about core values, which is even different. All right, let's keep going. All right, so how do we build it? So we talked a little bit about brand, we talked a little bit about the value, the ROI, the business impact of a brand, but how do we build these things? All right, we've all talked about, we have these perceptions in our minds, and remember, everything that we're talking about is happening in our brains. It's a battle of our brain. It's a battle of emotions, and your emotions actually come from your brain. So we'll talk about that, right, the dose method. So this is not talking about the physical world. This is talking about the psychological world. So in that sense, let's talk about the brain a little bit. So this guy right here, Paul MacLean, he talked about this thing called the triune brain. And he's basically saying that there's three parts to the brain. There's the human brain, the logical, rational side, the thinking brain. Then you have the emotional side of the brain. This part, the human brain is called the neocortex. The emotional side, also called the monkey mind. It's part of your limbic system, if you guys hear that. And then you have the reptile brain, right? Your dinosaur brain kind of keeps your heart going, you're breathing all the time. You guys can guess what we're going to focus. We're going to focus on the monkey mind. Why? Because if you guys believe in evolution, we're just a bunch of talking monkeys on a spinning rock flying through the universe, right? So this is us. We're 99% monkey, right? If you believe in evolution, we're basically the same. And there's been a lot of research that has been done on mammals. So there is a lot. If you guys start studying behavioral science, if you start studying psychology, if you study neuroaesthetics, all the stuff, there's tons and tons of research that's been out there for decades that helps you understand why we do the things we do, why we're motivated to do the things we do. And a lot of it is because we're mammals. So what motivates us? Right? At the end of the day, all the things that we're doing is so that we're going to motivate someone to choose our cars, our products, our water, our drink, our school. I want to go to Cal State Long Beach. Why? Right? You want to motivate them to come to Cal State Long Beach. You want to motivate them to buy liquid death. You want to motivate them to buy a cyber gaming PC. So marketing is about motivation. So what motivates our monkey mind? What are the first things that come to your head? What motivates us?
We're different.
Oh, go ahead.
Solving is our motivation a lot of the time.
Okay, what else? What are the first things that come to your mind?
Being hungry.
Being hungry, okay? And then what do you do when you're hungry?
You impulsively buy food.
You're motivated to go buy food. What else? Some other things. Wesley, what motivates you?
Play.
Play, entertainment, fun, okay? What else? Yeah. Competition, interesting, okay? That's a deeper motivation, but yeah, competition is definitely a strong one. Okay? Well, at the end of the day, it all comes down to one word. It's survival. And I know your initial thought on survival is I'm going to fight, and I'm going to kill, but really think about the survival of your genes. Your brain, your algorithm, is going to tell you to do stuff as long as your genes are going to survive. Sometimes it tells you not to do stuff, which we'll go into a little bit too, which is cortisol, your stress hormones, right? But it's the survival of your genes. So remember, everything you're doing as you guys start to design products and create them and take them to market and launch them, it's really about getting people motivated to buy your product because it's going to help them survive in one way or another. So if you break down survival, it's two things. You guys have heard of the carrot or the stick, right? Consequence or incentive. So carrot or the stick, it's really about two things. On one side, if I'm coming at you with a bat, you don't want to die. So you're going to be motivated to do something, probably run. On the other side, it's going to be about staying alive. If I go run after that carrot and I eat it before Wesley does, I'm going to survive and maybe he won't. Right? So it's going to be about motivation. On a side note, how many people are following the Don't Die movement? Anyone here? Brian Johnson? You are? Have you gone to any of his workshops?
No, but it's kind of freaky, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, okay. That's good. Yeah, people are starting to raise their hand about that movement, which is kind of cool. Okay, cool. That's the main motivation, and we're talking about emotion, right? So emotion is what's going to be driving all of us. This is an emotion wheel. Any interior designers using emotion wheels in here? Right? Is this the one that you use? Do you use this emotion wheel?
I've seen it. I don't use that on interior design.
Okay. Who else is using emotion wheels in here? No one? Oh, interesting. Yeah.
For branding and logo.
Is this the one you use? Because there's a bunch of them.
Yeah, there's a bunch of, I'm not too sure it's that one.
Okay. This is the one that we use because it's simple and it ties to the dose method, and it turns out there's a lot of like AI startups using this for mapping facial recognition and emotions. So I'm going to talk through this one, and then we're going to chop it up and break it down. So really what we're looking at here, on the left side, the bat, that's negative emotions. On the right side over here, positive emotions. On the top is high arousal, high energy, I'm excited. Down low is low arousal, I'm calm. This is a lot of adrenaline. This is not a lot of adrenaline. This is mainly cortisol, which I'll talk about, and these are the positive chemicals that we're going to focus on for dose. But what are the emotions you see here? You see angry, anxious, kind of high arousal, negative, sad and tired, low arousal, low adrenaline, negative. And then I'll talk about this stuff over here in a little bit. So what do we have on the left side? Negative emotions. That's primarily caused by cortisol, which is the stress hormone that makes you do stuff. But look at these emotions. Stress, burnout, angry, anxious, sad, tired. So we know that if I chase you with a bat, you're going to be motivated to move. But do you want your brand associated with these emotions? Probably not, right? People remember what you did. People will forget what you did, but they always remember how they made you feel. So you may use a little bit of this, but you don't want these to be the core emotions associated with your brand. Instead, you want to focus on the positive side, the stay alive side, the carrot side. So what are the emotions we have over here? Energized, excited, happy. Those are good. Down here, a little bit lower energy, content, relaxed, renewed, peaceful, trusting. That's where we want to live. So I went and had lunch with this lady, Dr. Loretta Bruning, and she runs the Inner Mammal Institute, where she talks a lot about emotions and mammals, mainly monkeys and chimpanzees. So I asked her, I go, hey, what's the science behind all this stuff? So I had the dose concept basically in my head from the cereal box and my background as a biology major, but it wasn't until I sat down with Loretta where I really was able to map out dose. And this is where I had that moment where it really clicked for us. So she started talking about there's 4 emotions or happy chemicals that make us feel good, that motivate us. And they're triggered by these 4 neurotransmitters, which come from your brain. So the first one is dopamine. So dopamine sits up high, and it gives you the feeling of a thrill of a desired future state, or something aspirational, a reward. You don't have it yet, but you want it. I don't have it, I want it. That's dopamine. And that's up here, very high energy. I'm going to use a jungle analogy. So this is the feeling of a thrill of a future reward. So if you're a monkey out in the jungle and you see, you're hanging out with your tribe of monkeys and you see a banana in the tree, dopamine is what's going to get you energized to go after that banana because that's going to help your genes survive. Even though you're taking a risk and you're leaving your tribe and you're going in the tree and you may get eaten by a tiger, you're willing to take that risk. So the second one is oxytocin, which is the feeling of safety. So you see that drops down a little bit. The energy is not as high, right? But it's on the positive side. And that's the feeling of the safety of a trusted tribe, right? So now you have you're at the party and everyone's drinking beers and you walk in with your liquid death and now you can kind of fit in. You get a sense of belonging right? Now, hey, I'm just like all of you. I feel comfortable. You guys are familiar, and I feel that you're my trusted crew. The next one is serotonin. And I know you guys hear all these words all the time, but lots of times you don't break it down as far as how they're different in terms of the motivation, how they make you feel. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So serotonin, a little bit higher energy, not as calm, and it's about being dominant, the feeling of dominance. Out in the jungle, this is really about the alpha in the group. So we talked about status, right? Part of what you want from an emotional standpoint is, I want to feel like I belong. I don't want to be outcasted because I'm drinking water at a party. I want to be a part of it, so I'm going to drink liquid death. With the alpha, you want status. It's like, you know what, I'm already hanging out with all the cool people here at this party, but I want to be different. I want to be the alpha. Why? Because I'm going to eat first and mate first, so my genes are going to survive, right? See the theme of survival? So this is the Urus. You guys are driving the VWs. I got my Lamborghini Urus. I have some status, so I'm probably going to mate first and eat first. And last one is endorphins, which is the sense and feeling of relief from stress. It's stress relief. So endorphins, you guys know what opioids are, or your morphine, right? It's going to relax you. Heroin, right? It's your body's natural morphine, is endorphins. So that's down here at the very bottom. You're positive, right? You're happy, but you're really calm, like you're at an opium den, right? So that's endorphins. This is something you get when you want to have the feeling of frustration and stress relieved. I want to get rid of the stress that I'm feeling. A lot of times you'll get this, you heard of runner's high? So after you go running, you end up feeling good. That's your body releasing endorphins. And it turns out that music releases endorphins, laughing releases endorphins. So something to think about as we start talking about the customer experience. Okay, so these are the molecules that motivate mammals to move. Dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphin. And now you guys see, they're not the same. They're all a little bit different, right? And then you have, on the other side, you have the bad boy, right? You have cortisol. So cortisol also, if I chase you with a bat, you're going to be motivated, but we don't really want our brands associated with these negative emotions. So we know about cortisol, but we don't want to use it very often. From a marketing standpoint, sometimes we'll use cortisol like at the beginning of the customer journey, like, oh, do you have a headache? Are you tired of doing this? Are you frustrated with this? Just to acknowledge the problem or the pain, but then we want to move them away from that as they start moving down the customer journey. So sometimes it's good right at the very beginning, and then you want to get away from it. Just like, you guys ever see those commercials right now where it has like the starving kid, in Africa, and you just feel so bad that you give money, right? It motivates you to do that, but you probably don't want your brand associated with those feelings. All right, this is a simplified version of our emotion map. So this is what we use for our dose method. You'll see stress on the left with cortisol, joy on the right, excited up top, calm down below, cortisol here, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphin, upset, happy, relaxed, and sad. So the reason why we use that is, like I mentioned, anybody know the company, where's Monet? Anybody know the company Monet out of UCI? It's a startup. So there's a startup at UCI that is using AI to measure facial recognition. And does this map look familiar? Right? This is one of the reasons why we use that emotion wheel. It's easy to map it with technology. So on the top, exciting, down below, calm, negative over here, and then positive over here. You can see happy, relaxed, sleepy, tired, bored, disgusting, anger, fear, surprised. So this is one of the samples that they have of the outburst from Will Smith at the Oscars. So I'm going to play it. But what I want you guys to see is it's going to be mapping his face, and you'll see the measurement move from high energy when he first starts talking about his wife's name, right? It's really up here. And then, if you guys remember, he starts crying. You'll see how it moves to, and then he kind of becomes remorseful and kind of moves over here. So I'm going to play this for you guys so you can see how this technology works.
Changer. Keep my wife's name out your fucking
rah, right? High energy, up at the top. And on the negative side.
Was a fierce defender of his family.
He smiles and goes over here.
Time in my life, in this moment, I am overwhelmed by what God is calling on me to do and be in this world.
And it's actually measuring a lot of different things. One, it's measuring his emotion on this wheel. And something you can't see here, it measures the dynamic range and the intensity of his emotions as well. And I'm going to show you how we use that for some of the videos, some of the TikTok ads that we did for our robot company.
Most delicate people I've ever met.
So you're seeing that it's able to track.
Sanaya and Demi.
Right, and then it starts getting a little more positive. It starts moving over to the right. Oh, I guess this is a pretty good mic over here. All right, so you guys get the idea.
Love will make you do. I change them.
Oh, there we go. So now we talked about brand, we talked about the brain, we talked about emotions. We're able to use technology to measure people's emotions, whether we're tracking them in an audience, or we can do testing with them to have them watch our commercials or do an open box experience, right? And we can record them and see how they're emotionally experiencing our products. But then the question of ethics has come up. Is it ethical for us as creatives, designers, that are creating these experiences through video or packaging or however you're going to be experiencing that brand, to use this type of science? What do you guys think?
They're already doing it with cinema a lot of the time.
Okay.
Propaganda, I mean, it's just a new tool.
Okay. Propaganda doesn't sound very good. But what are some other thoughts? Is it ethical to do this, or is it not good? Should we not be using this? Should we not be thinking about the chemicals that we're triggering? Yeah.
I think being aware of it is important.
Okay.
Using it for advantage, for whether it's social or economic profit, is very rarely.
Okay. So you're saying using it for profit is bad. Okay. What else? Any other thoughts on this?
I think it depends on the company, because if somebody else is going to do it and your company's ethical and you're able to successfully do it and you prevent somebody who would do it unethically from doing it because you just win out of the market, then maybe it would be unethical to not go for it.
These are things you're gonna be confronted with this, right? When you start talking about, hacking this or triggering this or evoking this, and people are gonna say, "Oh, are you manipulating them?" Right? So, at what point is it manipulation versus motivation? Because we're trying to motivate people. We're trying to get people to get out of bed and grab a this and buy a that and use a this, whatever it is we're going to be creating. We're trying to motivate people, and we're trying to help them solve a problem. If I have a headache and I'm trying to sell Excedrin, well, there's actually a problem I have a solution for. So I want to motivate them to buy Excedrin instead of using Advil or using Bayer. I mean, do you guys know that using Excedrin is actually best for your headaches over Advil or Bayer? I just found this out too. I have a doctor who told me, "Tony, why are you taking Advil for your headache?" He's like, "You should be taking Excedrin." So I never knew that, but if you do your research on it, but Excedrin is actually the best one for headaches. Anyway, that's a side note. All right, so back to this. So manipulation versus motivation. So we want to be on this side. We want to be motivators. We want to help people solve problems. How do we know which side of that line we're on? So I put a little cheat sheet for us. So this is something that you can do when you're in the boardroom and having conversations and someone's telling you, "Oh, you're trying to manipulate them." No. Let's figure out. It's a very fine line between the two. Do we want profits? Of course. If we're here trying to make business impact, profit is going to be critical to everything that we're doing. However, we don't want to make profits at the expense of people. We want to have conversions, absolutely, but not at the expense of having an emotional connection. We want to do the transaction, of course. We have to do that. This is about business impact. But we don't want to do the and this is where a lot of people get in trouble, a lot of companies. You want the transaction, but you don't want to do it at the expense of losing trust. And last couple ones. Do you want to, if you're tricking them, that's not right. If you're being transparent, that's okay. So if there's something that's kind of questionable, be very open, honest, and direct with the people. Let them know. There's a lot of different examples, right? But make sure you're very open and honest about everything you're doing so that you're very clearly not tricking people. And last one is, if you're thinking short term, it's probably not the right direction. Make sure you're always thinking long term. Okay, so we talked a little bit of ethics and stuff. You can stretch it out. We're going to the next section. Clear your brains. Let's put all this to work now. So how are we going to apply this? How does this whole thing work? We talked about brand and brain and emotion. How do we use it in this DOS CX framework? So customer experience is what we're talking about. When I say CX, it's customer experience. And let me talk about where customer experience sits. So when you talk about brand experience or people connecting, they're experiencing your brand, primarily it's all about you connecting with people. And for most companies, there's 3 cohorts or groups of people. There's customers, employees, and partners. That's like all the things that can be included in your brand experience. We're going to focus on one right now, which is just the customer's experience with our brand. So, is customer experience valuable? So the smart people at Forbes and Oracle and Qualtrics have done this study, and the study has shown that 81% of consumers will pay more for the same product, but for a better customer experience. You can think going to Nordstrom or even going to Amazon. 70% have stopped buying from a company with bad customer experience, right? It was frustrating. There was friction. I didn't like it. I didn't like going into the hotel lobby and the way that they spoke to me when I went to the front desk, right? I had a bad customer experience. I left. And 64% have switched from a competitor after a poor customer experience. Anyone here doing software development? Software products? You are? Okay. Is it getting easier and easier to create a software product, a SaaS product?
I would say with the help of AI it is.
Unbelievable, right? Lovable, Reloom with the style guide. I mean, amazing. So before, it was very important for you, I'm just using software as an example, for you to build your product. I built Snapchat, for example, and for me to have my engineers build this product, it would be very hard for other people to copy me, right? And I can have a moat or something that protects my brand and my company because of the software I have. But now, with software and AI, you can copy Snapchat like that, right? So now the product is not your differentiator, or it's becoming less and less of a differentiator. You can copy someone's software with AI. So the great thing about customer experience, when we talked about you guys going into the hotel lobby, and I talked about Nike, Tiffany, Liquid Death, that experience that you had, the perceptions and expectations, right, from that experience, can someone steal that from you? They can steal your website very easily now. But stealing that experience, the perception that you've already put in someone's mind, you can't steal that. That's inception, right? So you can't steal that. So I think as we start moving forward into this world where AI is able to build stuff like that with vibe coding, if you guys have been hearing that term thrown around, it's more important than ever to invest in a great customer experience because that can't be stolen from you. Okay, so what's the one thing you need to build a great customer experience? There's going to be one word, and there's a hint. What do you see on the screen in the background? Yeah, someone's shoes, yeah. What do you... Okay. Yeah, so it's a pair of shoes, right? So the one thing you need, that's all you need to create a great customer experience, is empathy. right? I know you hear in empathy all, you have to be empathetic, you have to empathize, right? So let's talk about, what is empathy? How do you have empathy with your customer? How can you empathize with your customer? What's some of the first things that come to mind? How do you empathize with them? How can you have empathy for them?
You understand,
Yeah.
understand how they experience your products.
How do you do that? Yeah, exactly.
Software that you were talking about where you map their emotions.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's one way, right? You want to get to know them, understand how they feel. What else? Yeah.
Consumer research, the kind of environments they're in, what sort of things they have to do or struggle with.
Yep. Yeah, understanding what their problems are, what their pains are. What else? All right, I'm going to make it very simple. This is what we ask one question. This question right here. So if you want to have empathy for your customer, when you guys are in your jam sessions with your team, right, and you say, hey, we got to have empathy, ask this question. Who wants what and why? Who wants what and why? If you can answer that question, you can have empathy for your customer. So how do we do that? I'm going to go through kind of like the worksheets that we create. That's mainly, it's going to be 4 steps. The first one is we have to look at market segmentation. So as I mentioned before, we're going to be applying our creative design work to having business impact. Market segmentation comes from market research companies. How many people, do we have access to market research here at the university? Do we have subscriptions?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, a lot of market research nowadays is free, which is amazing. It used to be tens of thousands of dollars to get market research, but you can get market research for free. I'm going to show you one that we use for the PC gaming brand. Number 2 is you create your own customer persona. Then you take that customer persona, you put their shoes on, and you walk a mile in their shoes through their customer journey and try to understand what their experience is as they're trying to solve their problem with your brand. And at the very bottom, you optimize it. You optimize it creatively through the creative experience, whether it's through advertisement on the website, your packaging, using your product, dealing with customer support and service, or trying to invest how you get more ROI to improve the experience. And I'll show you at the very end, I know this isn't a business class, but I did put one spreadsheet as my very final slide that we can dive into if you guys want. Okay, so the 2 case studies I'm going to be doing today will be, one is Cyber, which is a gaming PC company that our team manages everything. We do all the product design, we do all the product launches, we do all the marketing, website, everything for Cyber gaming. And what you're looking at here, for the people who are not PC gamers, these are 3 gaming PC cases. So when you're buying a gaming PC, it's just like buying the SUVs I showed you. The majority of what's on the inside is all the same stuff. You have this little steel chassis on the inside, and most of them have an Intel chip and an NVIDIA chip on it, and all the stuff's basically the same. Are some of them tuned up a little bit more? Yeah, but in general, they're commoditized. The only thing different are the aesthetics, right? It's the body. It's the Urus versus the Cayenne versus the Touareg, right? And that's what you're seeing here. Our job is to really create that aesthetic, create the form that has the visual brand language for Cyber, and that's really what we're selling, the aesthetics for this brand. For this brand, it's a little different. They have hardcore intellectual property that differentiates them. They're the only ones in the world that have a real transforming Optimus Prime robot. Right? It's a little different. So we don't do the industrial design, but we do get their 3D files, which is really, really cool to work with. There's like 5,000 parts on Optimus Prime, like 32 servo motors, right? So our team gets, the 3D files from the Transformers team, and then we use that for marketing. We do the website and the social media content, things like that. So that's Robocon was the other one we'll be talking about. And I'll talk a little bit about Nike and Liquid Death, because you guys know those too. Okay, so step 1, market segmentation. So this is where there's a bunch of smart people doing a lot of market research, trying to understand the market, which are people who want to buy your stuff. And what they do on a high level is they chop them up or segment them into different customer personas or market segments. So this is gamers from a company called Newzoo. So I think we paid $700 for this market research study. So it was not very expensive. For other brands and products, you guys may spend up to $25,000 for this. Lots of times, if you guys, maybe Calicut Long Beach has a subscription, you know, to like a GWI or some other market research company, and you get it for free. You can also go to the SBDC, which is the Small Business Development Center, and they'll do a lot of market research for you for free as well. Just some things to think about. So for cyber, we're going after the hardcore gamer. The gamer who wants the latest NVIDIA video card to have the best gaming experience. Based on that, which market segment do you think we picked to position the cyber gaming brand? Which one?
The ultimate gamer.
Close. We almost picked him, actually.
Cloud?
Which one?
Cloud? Oh, sorry, time filler, I guess.
Yeah, we didn't pick that. We picked the hardware enthusiast. Yeah. So we were between these two right here. So we were just launching a brand. It was brand new. We weren't sure, you know, who was going to adopt it, but we want to be very laser focused when we did our product launch. So we picked this one market segmentation, which is only 9% of all the gamers. But then once we pick that segmentation, they give us all the data and demographic and psychographic information. They have all this data on what this person likes and does and lives and all those types of things. But we wanted to go a step further and do our own primary research. So then we take that market segment and then we go and create our own customer persona. So this is probably one of the most valuable things that you guys can do in your groups as you start to develop products, build brands, or go to market with your products. Create a customer persona. So we call this an MVP. This is our most valuable persona because a lot of the companies you work for will have multiple personas, but there's one that's going to be the primary one, the most valuable one. So this is our MVP. We gave him a name. His name is Grown Gamer Gary. And just so you guys know, we only interviewed about 12 hardware enthusiast type customers. So don't think that we went and interviewed 100 people. It was like 12 people. We talked to people at Twitch who were engineers and streamers over there. We talked to people that were esports athletes. We talked to people that were in their late 20s who kind of had a job, who didn't want to spend a lot of time building a gaming PC and they wanted to buy a pre-built one, and asked them all their questions about, hey, what is it like to be a hardware enthusiast and what are the pains and problems you guys are dealing with? Who are you? What do you want and why do you want it? Right? Who wants what and why? So this is the persona, and let me break it down for you. Here is the who, right? So who is this guy, Gary, and what we would do, this is not actually Gary, but many times in the meetings as we're talking about product design, product development, go-to-market strategy, we would take a photo of Gary, print it out, and have him on our whiteboard. And as we're debating and trying to figure out, hey, how should we do this? Which should we choose, A or B? It's not about your opinion, right? It's not about the loudest voice in your group when you're trying to make a design decision. Always go back to Gary and say, hey, it doesn't matter what we want. What would Gary want for whatever it is, for this product, for this feature, for this ad, for this part of the website? So you figure out who he is, his job, marital status, things like that. Number two, what does he want? We know he wants a gaming PC. He's a hardware enthusiast. But really, why do you want it? And one thing that we figured out that was beyond what the market research showed is like, at the end of the day, all he wanted to do was hang out with his friends, right? So he's 27 years old, I think, right? 25 years old. He's making $80,000 a year. He's making some money. He's at home. He misses hanging out with his friends, but he can go on for an hour, right? Go on to Call of Duty, go into WoW, and all his friends will be there for like an hour, and he can hang out with them and get social, and then he's off again. So that's one of the things that came out of the interviews that we did. And then we want to know what his core values are. So you hear the word value a lot. How do you know what someone's values are? They tell you, right? But that's not always true. So what we do, instead of asking people, what do you value? Oh, I want to save the climate. I want to save the planet. I want to help all the people. There's all those things, but you just have to ask two things. Where do they spend their time? So look at their calendar. Just actually say, hey, let's look at your calendar. Let's see where you're spending your time during the week. Where are you spending your time during the weekends? And then you'll know exactly what they value. The second thing is, where do they spend their money? So start asking about, what are they buying? Look at their, I mean, don't look at their credit card statement, right? But look at their checking account. What do they, ask them, what'd you buy last month? Where did you spend your money? What are you subscribing to? Right? Then you have an idea of what they really value, where they spend their time and where they spend your money. And the reason why that's important is now you guys can start directing your, when you're talking about advertising, towards those people based on their interests, their real interests. Okay. Step 3, create a customer journey map. How many people here have created a customer journey map? A show of hands. Oh, what did you make? What was it for?
Oh, it was for a product that we were trying to like, the day in the life of like the user actually using a product.
Awesome.
So,
Do you remember did you use software for it?
no.
No.
Well, not really. It was
Sticky notes?
kind of. Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else? No, interesting. Oh, you did?
Kind of, yeah.
What was it for?
It was one of my hospitality management classes, so it was kind of like we were creating like a restaurant, and through that we had to go through the customer journey map.
Awesome. All right, so if you type in customer journey map in Google, this is what you get. Man, what a nightmare. So then there's this one here, it's called Today's Customer Journey Map. Man, who wants to fill that thing out? Still looks like a mess, right? And then there's this app. So if you guys need to create a customer journey map for your class, you can go to Rocket Source, and you can plug in all your information here, and you can get a customer journey map. But you know what? Don't do that. This is a disaster. It's just, you're gonna spend all this time on this, and you're never gonna use it. So what we do, I'm gonna show you the customer journey map that we use, is a very simplified version of it. This is what we use. This is built by a lady named Carrie Bodine. Love her, she does these great customer experience and customer journey workshops. So this is a customer journey map, and this has 9 different points. We're gonna only end up focusing on 4 of them, but let me talk through all of them. First of all, the customer journey is when you put yourself in their shoes, right? Remember that from empathy? And you're gonna walk across these steps in the customer journey. The journey starts at the moment of need. I have a headache. Ow, my head hurts. I have a problem. So you can consider this, you could be problem aware. In marketing terms, this is now, I'm in market. So on the left-hand side over here is people that are out of market, but that are still part of your total available market. So I may have a headache one day, right? That's actually 95% of the people. And then 5% of the people, based on what Google says, are people that are actually in market, whether you're trying to sell water or a car or a video card. So total available market is very big. And then once they are in market is when they are problem aware or they have a need, or it's like, oh, I actually have a headache. When I have a headache, I'm gonna seek a solution. So at that point, I can buy this is Excedrin, I can buy Advil, I can buy Bayer, I can drink water, I can take a nap, I can get a massage, right? There's a lot of things I could do to try and get rid of my headache. So I'm gonna seek different solutions, but at the end of the day, that's why it expands, I'm only gonna choose one of them. And if you have a headache, what are you guys gonna choose? Excedrin, good. Right, you're gonna choose one. You're not gonna take Advil and Excedrin and Bayer and all these different things, right? And then at that point, then you're gonna give money and you're gonna get the product, give and get. And then right here, you're gonna use the product. Whether I drink my Liquid Death or I use the gaming PC or I take my Excedrin to get rid of my headache. And at the end of using the product, one of 3 things will happen. I'm gonna have a great experience, my headache's gone, I'm using my gaming PC, it's absolutely amazing, and I fell in love, and then I'm gonna go and tell everybody to use Excedrin going forward, or I'm gonna leave because I had a terrible experience. I took Excedrin, I got sick, and actually I'm never gonna use Excedrin ever again. Or it's gonna be somewhere in between, right? I plugged in my PC and it was lagging a little bit, the resolution was really good, but I couldn't really beat something is kind of wrong. Can you help fix my problem? That's where you have an opportunity to help them with a poor user experience. And the 4 areas that we're gonna focus on for DOSE is seek, choose, use, fix. Seek a solution, choose a solution, use a solution, and if there's a problem, if you got a problem, no, it fixed that again. Perfect. All right. And then dose actually maps very nicely to this framework. When you're looking for a solution, I want a new gaming PC, I'm gonna be very excited about this. Oh, I want something that I don't have yet, right? It's a future reward. And then I gotta pick one of them. There's cyber gaming, and then there's HP, and then there's Lenovo, and then there's Alienware, there's Main Gear. I have all these different PCs I can choose from. Which one am I gonna choose? I'm gonna choose the one that is the safest or the one that I trust the most. You're gonna pick one. Give, get money. Over here, I wanna have a great customer experience. I wanna feel satisfied. I wanna feel success. I wanna have status, right, that I did a really good job. And over here is endorphins. Man, I had a really bad experience working with my gaming PC, or I bought that robot, and for some reason, when Optimus Prime raises his hand, it doesn't go all the way up. I wanna make sure that you can help me relieve the stress and frustration that I'm feeling. So 4 different emotions. Right, and these are the 4 core emotions that motivate mammals to move. These are the 4 happy chemicals. So think about when you want these emotions evoked. You don't want a lot of excitement over here, right? Excitement is going to be in the beginning. So let's figure, how do we apply all this? How many of you know the 7-Eleven rule from Google? Raise your hands. All right, I'll break it down then. So these experiences, these brands that are built in your brain happen along the 7-Eleven rule. So the 7-Eleven rule is actually the 7-Eleven 4 rule. Everyone calls it the 7-Eleven rule, but it's actually a 7-Eleven 4 rule. This is from Google Labs. So what does Google Labs say? They say that before someone chooses your brand, your product, your experience, whatever it is, your water, your gaming PC, or your robot, or your aspirin, they're gonna spend 7 hours of consuming content. Maybe being at an event, maybe it's gonna be on social media, maybe it's gonna be on a website, but there's 7 hours of content in general across 11 touch points and across 4 different channels. So the area where, as creatives, where we're gonna live, it's really about having these touch points. So that's where we're gonna focus our talk today, is like, how do we create these touch points to get people to have a great experience to choose our brands? And this is what we do. Like this is what we did for our robot client, for Robocon. We take a look at all the different steps of the customer journey, seek, choose, use, fix, and we map out what that experience would look like. So the touch points in the very beginning of the customer journey, after you put your feet in your customer's shoes, what are they seeing? What are they hearing? Who are they talking to? Where are they going? Step 2, step 3, and step 4. This is a simplified version of this. It's much more complicated than this, but this is the simple version of it. So this is the full version of the dose method framework. So you'll see across the very top, that's the business impact that we want to have for each step. So I'm just going to go across the top. In step 1, if you guys do a good job, you're going to increase traffic primarily to a website. So it's probably an advertisement, social media post, or an event that gets people to go to a website most of the time. Step 2, if you do a good job here and you get people to feel a sense of trust, that you're a trustworthy brand or a trustworthy product, you're going to increase conversions. And that typically happens on a website. You see a money bag here. Those 2 are pre-purchase. The next 2 are post-purchase. Sometimes you may hear these measurements called a bow tie, right? Because the traffic's gonna be a lot, and it's gonna go down to a number of conversions. And then I'll talk about the opening of the bow tie on the right side. You wanna increase the number of reviews. If people are happy, they're gonna tell people about it, whether it's word of mouth or reviews online. You want more reviews, and you want the reviews to be higher. And on the far right, you want to increase customer retention. Also, lifetime value. So you're going to be getting people that come in, and then you want them to spend more money with you and spend more time with you. So that's the back half of the bow tie. So that's the business measurement of it. I'm not going to go over the whole thing right now, but I talked about seek, choose, use, fix. You know which molecule or neurotransmitter is going to trigger a certain emotion that you're trying to evoke on every step of the customer journey. In general, this will probably be something that has aspirational, right? Aspirational. You have a dream. There's something I want. I don't have it yet. You're seeking a solution. This could be things, mostly advertising, teasers, countdowns, problem solution. B&A is before and after, right? So if I'm a little chubby and I want to be, fit and get abs, I want to see the before and after transformation of going to this gym. Increase conversions. Oh, and what you want your customer to say after looking at or experiencing your first step, they should say, oh, I can do it. If I go to Wesley's gym, I'm going to get the abs that I want, right? So, and I'm excited about it. Step 2 is I'm going to choose one of those gyms if I'm trying to get in shape. I'm going to choose a solution. Now the messaging changed a little bit. It's more authoritative, social proof. How do you do that? How do you build trust? Use cases, case studies, reviews, BDQs. You guys heard that term? Buyer decision questions, right? Every customer that you guys are designing for, they're going to have a list of questions, right? Little hurdles that you have to get them over. They all have them in their head. You need to figure out what those questions are so you can answer those questions somewhere along the customer journey, along some of those 11 touch points on 4 channels. Is it going to be on your website? Most likely. It's probably on one of your product landing pages. At that point, they're like, I have these questions about Wesley's gym. Is it safe? Are they ethical, right? I'm going to have these different questions. I'm going to have questions about liquid death, right? Does liquid death align with my values? Are they trying to save the planet? You talked about plastic, Do they align with my core values? I don't know. But if that's a question I have before I buy water, liquid death better have that on their website. So I'm glad you brought that up. But at the end of the day, you're trying to get the customers to say, I trust you, in step 2. Now, money bag, there's a transaction that happens. What's step 3 about? For industrial designers, this is where you guys got to focus. You need to focus here because you want the using experience, right? I'm using your product. You want that to be successful. You want it to be a flawless first-time experience. You want it to be intuitive. You want to make sure that they're not calling tech support. Hey, how come my gaming PC is not working? Hey, how come my robot's arm doesn't go up, right? You want that open box experience to be delightful and hopefully surprising so that they write a review, right? Quick start guides, how-tos, and support FAQs. Oh, the arm isn't working. What's the FAQ? At the end of this, you want them to be able to say, I did it, without calling tech support. But now, if there is a problem, right, step 4, you want to increase retention. So instead of people leaving your brand, you want to retain them so that you can increase lifetime value to increase the back half of that bow tie for the CFO and the CEO, right? It's about fixing a problem. So think of a concierge experience. When you're at a hotel and you have a problem, you just want everything solved, don't you? So think of a concierge type experience, retention-focused messaging, a hotline, help desk, feedback, warranties, and returns. At the end of the day, you want them to say, man, I had a problem, but I felt no pain. It was stress-free. Okay, let's start with the first one. Let's dive into dopamine a little bit. Then I'm going to give you some examples. Let's talk about what I show you, and you tell me if these things are working as far as these touch points. So, touch points that are going to be triggering dopamine. This is the touch point where you want them to make them feel the thrill of a reward. And there's a lot of things here. I just want to focus on the first one. Attention-grabbing, aspirational visuals and messaging. Other things you can do that trigger dopamine. Gamification, things that are interactive, before and afters, limited time, FOMO, contests. People think of slot machines. There's a lot of dopamine with slot machines. When you're scrolling, it's like a slot machine. Oh, I'm going to find something that's going to make my life better. I'm going to find something on that next scroll is going to make my genes survive, right? The goal is to increase traffic. So let's look at this first one by Nike. And I want you to tell me, is this, it's an ad. Does this ad, number 1, grab my attention? Number 2, is it aspirational? I heard a yes. Okay, which part? Is it attention grabbing? Is it aspirational? And why? Go ahead.
Both.
Okay, good. What part of it is attention grabbing? That's an easy one.
The font and like the whole composition of the photo is really cool.
Is it aspirational? Why? What do they do visually to make it aspirational?
They single her out.
What's that?
They single her out and put her in front.
She's in front. She's winning. Where are the other runners? Okay. What else?
Perspective,
Okay.
like kind of adding to what she's saying, the perception of the runner being more towards like the audience as opposed to in the back of the font.
Yep. She's in front. And what else? Anything aspirational about this?
The arena.
Was that?
The arena, that she can like do that and run in front of millions of people.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And she's the one who's not waiting till tomorrow. There's a delayed reaction when you get that.
Isn't it? Look at that word, tomorrow. Talk about aspirational. Right? When you break it down, it's very simple. Right? Do they talk about the product? It's not talking about the product. You can barely even see the shoes. The shoes are blurry, you know? Right? So attention grabbing with color, boldness, aspirational, you're in front tomorrow. And it says tomorrow on there. All right, good. How about liquid death? Is this attention, this is an ad as well. Is this attention grabbing? Is it aspirational? And there's no wrong answer, it could not be. What do you guys think? You don't have to raise your hand. What are your thoughts? Yeah.
I think the thing that's really successful about Liquid Death is it's self-aware, it's funny, and that appeal to humor is important to, I think, them being successful.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about earlier, they're transparent directly with the consumer, that we know it's nothing different, you know it's nothing different in terms of the product.
Agreed. Is this aspirational? Is it talk about a desired future state?
Yeah, I mean, everybody wants to be like a little bit of a nihilist, like, oh, death doesn't scare me. Like, it's funny, right?
And there's humor to it too. Not as strong as the Nike one, right? But does it talk about the future? I have a problem, I'm thirsty, I'm gonna murder my thirst, right? So it's talking about getting rid of your thirst. It's something you don't have yet. I'm still thirsty, but I wanna get rid of it, right? It's subtle. Murder your thirst, the typography, the font, attention grabbing, right? It's a little jarring. It breaks patterns. Murder, definitely captures your attention. Okay. This is the first ad we did for cyber. So for the PC gamers, do you guys recognize this team? No? So this is an esports team. They're basically the Lakers of esports. They, I think they're still the most highest grossing team ever from one event. They won over these 5 guys won over $6 million at the International Dota 2 tournament in Seattle. And actually we signed them to our brand to be, influencers for a year, right before they won this. They won this like a month later. So it was a huge win for us. But yeah, this is our ad. Is this ad attention grabbing if you're a gamer, and is it aspirational? So are we triggering dopamine with this? Or not? What do you guys think?
I would say so because of the jerseys. It symbolizes like unity.
Okay.
So you want to be like a part of a team.
Okay. Anything else? Is it working? Is it triggering dopamine or not? Is it aspirational? Yeah.
I think it is. It shows that like people from different backgrounds can do the same thing and achieve greatness and be part of a unit together.
Okay.
Transmitter is relating to somebody because I think they're more relatable than a lot of people you see. Is that a specific transmitter when you can relate to someone? Or?
Definitely, right? So familiarity, right? Which is more the oxytocin, side of things, which is the love molecule, right? Yeah, so we did this one, and we didn't put the product. We focused on, just like that Nike ad, we focused on the people, right? If you wanted to be an esports athlete and you wanted to be one of the top gamers in the world, maybe you should try Cyber. We just launched the brand. No one even knows what the brand was. But we said, winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. Cyber, an official sponsor of Evil Geniuses. That was the name of the team. This is one of the first ads we did for the robot company. From dream to reality. Robocon on there, Hasbro, Transformers. This is the robot. Okay, so thoughts. Is it aspirational? Is it attention grabbing? Is it triggering dopamine? Why? So I see some nods. What do you think? Does it talk about the future? Something you don't have that maybe you want?
Yeah, it's the aspiration of getting the actual robot. We can see how cool it is with half of it exposed in the picture.
Yeah, we did an X-ray version of the robot to show that it wasn't a toy, which has never been done before. And we talked about going from dream to reality. So now, if you were the target customer, something we realized is that when you were watching the Transformers, when you played with Transformers when you were a kid, they were all toys. You always wanted the Transformer and Optimus Prime to transform. And you were never able to do it. And this is the first time your dream became a reality. So, okay. Could we have done anything better with this? Yeah.
Maybe like explosions or something? Like,
Say it again?
like explosions or something in the background, not to take away from the Transformer, but to kind of add to that, like, this isn't a toy, like this is real life, like, we're not going to be playing in your in our room, we're going to be having it outside and stuff.
Yeah, maybe add some more reality to it. Yeah.
I think isolating like the dream would be helpful, like on the last one. I think when it said, the only thing is kind of isolated with the color, and I think like the dream being isolated would be important just because like everybody has the dream, but it doesn't always become reality, and this is showing like that middle ground from dream to reality.
Great point. Great point, yeah.
I would say like an Oxytocin edition, like maybe add like a kid like in front of Optimus Prime, and he's like kind of posing to kind of show him as like his protector.
Yeah, okay, I like that.
Dynamic pose, and then the kid would show scale too.
Okay. Great, great feedback. So this is the TikTok and Instagram ad that we did. So I heard a little bit of that in some of the thoughts, right? Like actually make it real, show people with the robot. So this is our actor that we hired to do these videos. And these are just 3 of the storyboard slides. It was like a 15-second video. It's really short. But you'll see slide 1, hey Optimus Prime is how it started. And in the middle, we had this wow moment where he says, Optimus Prime, transform. He transforms from a truck in slide 1. Slide 2 is in the process of transforming. And that is typically that wow moment. That's the dream that everyone had. They wanted to see it. They wanted to see Optimus Prime actually transform because they've been playing with the toys their whole life. And then on the far right was the payoff. Then Optimus Prime is in robot form. What do you guys think? Attention grabbing? Aspirational? What would you have done differently? What could we have done better to capture attention and get people excited about their dream becoming a reality? Any comments? Yeah.
I like the type a lot. I think that was really good play, and like it caught my attention really fast.
So the hook, the visual hook, the first 3 very big, bold. Hey, Optimus Prime. Yeah. Okay. And we had him speaking. He was actually saying it at the same time. Yeah. So we had the audio too. Okay. Let's move on. Let's talk about oxytocin. Oh, how am I doing on time?
We got about 45 minutes, 55 minutes.
Okay, I knew we said try and do it in a couple hours, so. All right, I'm gonna keep going then. I'll pick up the pace a little bit. Okay, touch points. In this point, we're trying to build trust, right? You're trying to make people get a sense of familiarity. I'm walking to a party, everyone's drinking beers, I got my liquid death, it looks like beer, right? I'm part of that tribe. So, get the feeling of being a part of a trusted tribe, focus on that. And it's about familiarity and affiliation to shared mission, vision, and values. Right? I want to drink water, but I want to be a part of a group of people that have similar values to me. Maybe they don't want plastic, right? You're saying, I did it. I actually bought the aluminum can. But there's a lot of other things that trigger oxytocin too. You can customer testimonials, reviews, case studies, transparent pricing, certifications, and badges. Let's take a look at, this is from a Nike website. So you go to the Nike website. I took a screenshot of one of the pages here. Is this evoking the emotions of trust? This is a trusted tribe. Are you talking about shared mission, vision, or values? Do you feel an affiliation, a sense of belonging? It says right there, belonging, right? Right, so it's pretty obvious. And then, is anyone doing NRC, the Newport Running Club in here? No? Okay. I was curious if people are doing that, if everyone's buying Nikes or not. But, okay, so this is their website, definitely focused on building trust. How about this? This is the Liquid Death website. Death to plastic. I think you just brought this up. They're not talking about the product. They're not talking about the water. On this page, there's a little snippet talking about the 2 nonprofit organizations that they donate money to that are trying to get rid of plastic. Okay, is it building trust? Familiarity? Are you going to choose Liquid Death because they have same values, shared values? Maybe. This is what we did for cyber. So we're trying to figure out some way of building trust very quickly. Again, cyber was a new brand. We just launched it. No one knew the brand. We hired a host. His name is Duncan. You got on the left-hand side. He lived and breathed PC gaming. All his tattoos are all video game tattoos. And we started a channel called Cyber TV. And on Cyber TV, we did Twitch streaming, and we streamed on Facebook and YouTube. But what we do is we would invite people that were in our trusted tribe, people like, do you guys know Intel? Of course, right? So we have companies like Intel, NVIDIA, EVGA come onto our show to build that trust and build the connections. What we did for Robocon, does anybody recognize any of these influencers? Who do you recognize? Oh, you know Liza? God, no one knows Liza. You're the first one. That's awesome. That's great. Yeah, who else do you recognize?
Unboxing Therapy.
Good. What's his name?
Unboxing Therapy.
You know his name?
No.
Louis George, Canadian? Yeah. Adam Savage. Awesome. Okay, you guys know all the influencers. That's great. Usually these people don't know some of the influencers. So you guys know all 3 of them. So Unbox Therapy, right? His name is Louis George. He's an influencer. 2.8 million followers on Instagram. His YouTube has like even more, right? He is a major influencer. Her name is Lexi? Liza, that's right, Liza. She is the actress from the Transformers Rise of the Beast. Right, if you knew that, okay, so that's Liza. And then you have Adam Savage, who is from Mythbusters. So these are the top influencers that we figured out for our market segmentation. We did market research and figured out these were the top influencers. And what we did is we gave them an Optimus Prime so they could create a video for us. So did we pay them? All right, we did not pay them publicly, right? So they were given these robots. But what we did do, we gave them all a promo code, all right, or an affiliate link. And say, hey, if you're an influencer, what are you influencing? What do we want them to influence?
Traffic.
What's that?
Traffic.
Or how about a purchase, right? If you're an influencer, we want you to influence a sale. So we gave them all the robot. They all created their videos. They posted them up. And Louis, Unbox Therapy, got 163,000 engagement, right? Likes on it. Liza, 72,000. Adam got 61,000. Who do you think sold the most robots? You want to say it all? Who do you think? Who's your vote?
Louis George.
All right, okay. How about this? Who thinks Louis sold the most? Raise your hand. So about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 people. How many people think Liza sold the most robots? 1. How many people think Adam sold the most? Okay, that's the most. So the answer is Adam. Why do you guys think Adam sold the most? And you're right. Yeah.
Because his fans
It totally was. Yeah. So he was the right demographic. He's he's in his late 50s. He grew up with the toys, and he was also the most excited about it. Like, he was so animated and had super high energy about it. He ended up selling the most with his video. So then what we did is we took his video and we hired an actor. Remember this guy? Right? So we told him, hey, this is the guy who ended up selling the most from his video. We want you, so we used that software that would track the emotion using AI. And we tracked all 4 of those videos to figure out exactly what type of energy they had, what type of emotion they were showing. Also, we checked the dynamic range of the emotion throughout the video. So you could tell he started really high, then he went down, then there was a peak in the middle, and then he ended high. So peak end rule, which we talk about a little bit later. And we say, hey, make your video follow this pattern of energy levels. Also, we want you to match the energy of Adam. So you see here, I mean, we wrote down amazing, but he was very animated. He showed a lot of positivity and happiness in his video. Even though Liza did too, but it didn't end up converting. And Unbox Therapy, even though he had the most engagement, he had the most followers, he was down here towards the bottom. So then, next one, we'll talk about serotonin. So what are we trying to trigger here for these touch points? We want, as I mentioned, have a flawless first-time experience. When they're done using your product, you want to make sure they feel a sense of success and status. Like when you go to a restaurant and you place an order for a meal, and the server comes to tell you, oh, that was a really good decision, right? They give you affirmations that you're doing a good job, that you were successful in whatever it is you were doing. And there's a lot of other things that you can do to trigger serotonin. Like you could do VIP programs, give them a sense of status, make them feel like they're in the URUS, appreciation, affirmation, job well done, referral programs, and other things. Let's go ahead and look at this one with Nike. So this is a collaboration that Nike did with Tiffany's. Does anybody know this collaboration? Familiar with it? Does anybody buy it? Anybody have this? No? What did you think about the collab when you first saw it?
I think it was cool. I saw it in a skate video. The skate
Okay.
was wearing those shoes.
Okay. And do you think that this is triggering serotonin? Is this a delightful and amazing open box experience if you were to get this product? I'll talk you through it. So this is a pair of Nikes. It comes in a blue Tiffany's box. It has the blue Tiffany's swoosh on it. The wrapping is actually newspaper stories about the Tiffany's brand for like 100 years of legacy brand building. It also came with a stainless steel shoehorn and a stainless steel referee watch. How is this open box experience? Does it make them feel a sense of status? Right? It ended up catching the attention of, you guys know Oren John? Right? The internet's creative director. I love this guy, right? It catches his attention, right? And now he's talking about it. So some of the things that you can do. How about this with Liquid Death? Is this giving you a sense of status, a sense of success? Is this making you feel like the alpha in the group? This is the opportunity to be a lifetime member of the Liquid Death Country Club. How many people know about this campaign? Oh, no one. Okay, so the Liquid Death Country Club, you can become a member for the price of $125,000. And look how many members there are. There's almost 250,000 members. But there's a second way that you can become a member. This is the bill of sale for one eternal human soul. You can sign over your soul to the Liquid Death brand, and they officially own your soul, and then you get entered into the Liquid Death Country Club. So does this work? Does this trigger serotonin? Does it give you a sense of status and success or not? What do you guys think? No wrong answer. I've heard both, so. Yeah.
Doesn't that kind of tie back to what you were talking about earlier about manipulation versus motivation?
Maybe a little bit, right? And again, for a lot of these I'm showing, there's no right or wrong answer, right? For you, you may feel a certain way about it, and it may not work for you. You know, that turns me off. That's triggering cortisol. That doesn't make me feel, you know, as a part of the group at all. It doesn't give me a sense of status at all. But for other people, it may, right? Depending on if you're part of that key persona, right? So this is what we did for Cyber. We gave away VIP tickets to the Bass Nectar New Year's Eve show. So we know that a lot of the gamers, they were bass heads. Anybody listen to Bass Nectar?
I think he got canceled.
He got canceled?
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Okay, so back when we used to love them, a lot of gamers loved their bass heads. They wanted to go to the Bass Nectar concert. And this is Android Jones. He did all the visuals for us. You guys see like the Enema at the Sphere, right? So that's what this guy does. He does all these amazing visuals with the DJ. So we sponsored him. He's on a cyber computer doing all the amazing visuals for the Bass Nectar concert. So we gave away some VIP tickets. So if you bought a Cyber, you got a chance to go to one of these concerts. Do you guys think that worked? Does that give you a sense of status, success? Yeah, okay. So different things you can do. And this is what we did for Robocon. We wanted to do something special, make some people who ordered the Buzz Lightyear robot an opportunity to feel special. So if you guys remember the movie Lightyear, his Space Ranger suit is in a closet that looked like this. So this is something our team actually designed the closet. So we have this closet that has a little light on the top, just a little extra gift for people to feel special if they were part of that initial group that pre-ordered. And obviously, if you guys do a great job of unboxing and giving great experiences, people talk about it, right? If you're surprising and delighting them. All right, last one, retention. You want to trigger endorphins, your body's natural morphine. So these touch points, how do you want people to feel? You want them they're stressed out. I had a bad experience. The Advil didn't work. The robot didn't work. I'm frustrated. So they're feeling stressed. You want to make them feel relief. So one thing I'll talk about is the peak and end rule. And those are the examples I'm going to show you. So customers are going to remember the extreme high-low, and they're going to remember the final feeling. Right? They're not going to remember what you did. They're going to remember how you made them feel. And most importantly, they're going to remember how you made them feel at the end. So if they had a great experience with your robot, oh my God, that was amazing. I had such a great experience. That's great. And the ending was good. That's fine. But what if they had a bad experience? They had a bad experience with your robot. They had a bad experience drinking your liquid death. Well, then you really want to focus on the end experience, the end feeling. That's your opportunity to save them. And it turns out if they had a very low experience and the dynamic range from that to the final positive experience is a lot, they're going to remember you even more. And there's other things you can do. Personalize it, have clear FAQs, quick support, easy returns. And this is to focus on getting customer retention. So let's see some examples of that. How many people here have stayed in a W hotel? One? Have you used their whatever, whenever service? You haven't. Okay, let me tell you what it is. So if you stay at the W hotel, their concierge actually has this on their desk. It says whatever, whatever, and it says really. It's a little bit of humor. Humor actually triggers endorphins as well, along with music. There's a lot of music playing at the W hotel. But their whatever, whenever is whatever you want, whenever you want it. If you ask, you will get it. If you want water or an aspirin or an Optimus Prime robot, they'll actually go buy you a car. If you have your American Express Black Card on file, they'll go buy a car for you, right? That's the story I always hear of. So that's the W hotel. Would that make you feel stress-free at the W hotel, knowing that no matter what happens here, they will do it whatever and whenever I ask for it? I think so. Right? So think about your experiences with your product and your brands that you guys start to develop. Maybe consider a whatever, whenever policy. The Ritz-Carlton has what's called a 6-diamond policy, and this is their credo. What I want you to focus on is the last part here. from what I understand, everyone who works at Ritz-Carlton carries this card around. Has anyone worked at the Ritz-Carlton here? No? Has anybody asked a server at the Ritz-Carlton for a card, for the Credo card? Okay. So I understand they all carry this around with them. But it talks about the Ritz-Carlton is a hotel where genuine care and comfort of our guests is our highest mission. But focus on the last part here. It says, the Ritz-Carlton experience enlivens the senses, instills well-being, and fulfills even the unexpressed wishes and needs of our guests. Is that going one step beyond the W Hotel? The W Hotel, you need to ask them, hey, I want you to go buy me a car. At the Ritz-Carlton, they want their staff and their team members to think of your unexpressed wishes, right? And that's what they're saying. There's a 5-star experience, and then they're saying, what would a 6-star experience look like? What would it look like if we had a 6-star? What would we need to do to get a 6-star in a review? So something to think about when you guys are creating your product experience, customer experience. At the end of it, when they're going to give you a review, a 5-star review, maybe the conversations with your team are about, hey guys, if we were going to get a 6-star, what would we have to do to get that 6-star? Right, it's a good question to ask. Things we do for cyber is we talk about, we want to give them comfort beforehand. So we actually use these badges on our marketing up front in step 1 of our customer journey. We put it on the package, we put it everywhere we can. Talk about lifetime technical support. Everything's built in the US, so you don't have to ship it back to China and wait for your PC to come back to still game. It's designed right here in California, and we have a 3-year warranty. I'm not going to talk about customer service too much with you guys, if I don't care too much about that. But last 2 slides. So at the very end of this, you want to optimize and make your experience better and better over time. So this is the framework we use to now measure what that experience is. So this is a simplified version of it, but you'll see as you go across the 4 steps of the customer journey: seek, choose, use, fix. All we do is give this sheet to a handful of people every year and ask them, go put on the shoes of our target customer and go through their customer journey. What we want you to do is go and give us feedback on how we can improve every step of the customer journey. So you'll see on the left-hand side, what are the actions they're going to do? What are the touch points? What's the emotion they felt? And what are the opportunities we can use to improve that experience? So I'll go through one of these. For seeking, they're going to ask friends for recommendation, internet searches for pre-built and build your own gaming PCs. They want to see what other esports pros are using. What are the touch points? They're going to Google, they're going to Bing, they're on Facebook, Instagram, getting ads. They're going to Twitch streamers and watching them, and they're looking at what the esports pros are using. What was the experience that this person had? I was like, oh wow, it was great. When I saw the experience of step 1 for cyber, I felt like I can do it. I can achieve my dream. What can we do to improve it? Well, a few things here, right? Establish a brand as a thought leader and domain authority with relevant educational content. So at the time, we didn't have educational content. We didn't talk about how to choose your gaming mouse, right? And have it based on SEO strategies, engage evidence, sponsor pros, which we were doing, sponsor influencers, which we were not doing. We're sponsored pros. We were not sponsoring other influencers at the time. So those are 2 things that we did. And we didn't come up with it. We just handed the sheet out, told 12 people to give us feedback, and they told us what they wanted. So doing this type of primary research, it becomes very easy for you to optimize and improve your customer experience because your customers will tell you what they want. And do that for every step. And finally, the only spreadsheet you're going to get today. So at the end of the day, this is about having business impact, and you want to improve business impact by making bets or investments in different steps of the customer journey. So this is an audit. This is just last month. We just did this audit for this company. And the problem is, let me walk you through the top. So from the top, this is a sales report of direct sales, people going to an e-commerce site and buying stuff. This is a 1-month report. And what I did is I broke it down into 4 steps. Seek, choose, use, fix. Worked with the VP of marketing and figured out what was the actual numbers of their traffic to the website. And this is what we call the CEO scoreboard. What does the CEO care about? Only a couple things. How much traffic came to the site? So if it was up, they had 14 million, and we had it as green. So good, traffic's up, cool. How are the conversions on the site? They did $130 million in revenue. It's green, it's up, cool. How are your reviews, the number of reviews and the score? It's down, it's red, it's down a little bit. That's not good. And then how is your repeat customer, return customer business? That's also down. So red's not good. So what's the CEO gonna do? He's gonna go, what's going on over here? And then you're gonna dive down below. What typically happens for most companies, and what was happening with this company, they would look at this whole thing as one chart. They look at the whole thing as one investment. So what I did with my team, we went in and said, hey, let's break it down into 4 different steps, and let's break up your investment for each of the touch points. Brand strategy, events, social, UGC, user-generated content, influencers, content creation from the studio, podcast and studio, community emails, website SEO, TikTok ads, meta ads, Google ads, affiliates, partners, and PR. Right? So these are all different types of touch points, basically. And then what you'll see here is we want to see how much of your total marketing budget. They have a $14 million marketing budget. It's 1% of their total revenue. If you take that budget now and break it up, what percentage are you investing in step 1? 45%. How much of your budget are you investing in step 2? 48%. How much are you investing in step 3? 3%. Holy smokes. How much are you investing in step 4? 3%. Huh, kind of odd, huh? That the 2 that are red only have 3% of the marketing budget. So what are we going to tell them? If you saw this, what are some, based on what you know about the dose method and the different touch points, what would some of your initial thoughts be? What advice would you give to this company? What are the first things that come to your mind? Let's see if I did a good job of teaching today. What are some things you would do? Oh, okay, of what? 3 and 4, right? First of all, increase the budget. You're spending, $6 million on step 1, almost $7 million in step 2, $500,000 for those. These are rough numbers, right? But man, why don't you invest some more money over here? What would you do? Let's talk about step 3. What could you do? Right? Seek, choose, use the product, fix it. You guys, as industrial designers, you're living in step 3. If you design your product properly and you have a flawless first-time experience, this step 3 should go up, right? What could you do for step 3? What would you tell the CEO of this company to invest in? What are some things? Yeah.
Just the next generation with troubleshooting.
Like what?
First you would want to pay to maybe have normal people using your product right there in front of you so you can see what the pain points are. Not what they tell you, but what they actually are and then the next thing you would do is just make a new generation of your product that built on solving all those problems. So do primary research, really understand. You just said empathize with your customer, right? Put yourself in their shoes and walk through step 3. What's it like to do the open box experience? What's it like to quick start your product? What's it like when you have to troubleshoot? What is it actually like? Do you really know, right? What else can you do? What else would you tell them? I know it's getting kind of late, but yeah.
Essentially, maybe hire an influencer or a more dominant industrial designer.
Right, exactly. I think that's a big one right there. For you guys, you need to invest more in industrial designers, right? I need more people on my team. We need to do more, you're basically saying R&D. Let's experiment and let's explore more product ideas based on what we heard them say. They're complaining about this one friction point with this product. Why don't we offer 3 different solutions for that, right? You're spending $6 million over here. Why don't you give us an extra $100,000? And this number will go up. And I bet you retention would go up, right? So as designers, this is a critical, at the end of the day, all the money spent in number 1, all the money spent in number 2 is to get people to use your product, isn't it? And isn't it crazy how little they're spending on the actual using of the product? It's mind-blowing. All they kept talking about was, we need to increase traffic. That's what they kept, well, we just want you to get us more traffic. And just like when that Pine company came in with their box and said, build us a website. We're like, no, 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 no. We don't want to just go and show more people your crappy product, your crappy packaging. You have a root, a core problem. Your product needs to be designed better, right? Your product needs to be designed better. Your product needs to be packaged in a way that resonates and communicates the true value of your product. You need to design your packaging so it differentiates, so it actually has an emotional connection with them and builds trust, right? So I'm going to leave with this. Dose your customers with the desired emotion during each step of the customer journey, and it will help your business to win on this new battlefront by getting customers addicted, in a good way, to the positive feelings associated with your brand. You guys can feel free to scan this and connect with me on LinkedIn, especially the entrepreneurs who are looking to get involved as far as meeting investors, as far as working on your pitch, as far as getting funding. Reach out to me and connect with me. Make sure you mention that you saw me and met me here at this talk. And Wesley, thank you for having me, and good luck, everyone.